Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keemstar, and I had a dream. I had a dream of getting DSP, Wings of Redemption, and Boogie2988 on a podcast, the Lolcow podcast. The entire internet loved this idea, except for there was a huge problem. DSP, roll it.
I have no idea what he's speaking of. I have not spoken with Keem about being on any podcast ever, nor will I. There is no Lolcow cast, period.
There's a history with Keemstar where, over the years, this guy's a horrible reputation on YouTube. He had been pretty nasty to me a few times, tweets and things like that. So we have a little bit of bad blood there.
The whole idea of me, him, and Wings being on a podcast that was going to have Keemstar's involvement, and I guess Boogie still has some resentment there where he's upset. I cost him and Wings $50,000.
I'd rather be miserable. I'd rather sit in a corner and cry all over myself for a living, which also cost me a $50K payday, which also cost Wings a $50K payday. So he screwed everybody over.
I don't like Keemstar. I don't like the content he puts out, nor do I like what he stands for as a person. I think that he's kind of a despicable person. I would never do business with this man.
I would never work a Keemstar. So it didn't look like this show was ever gonna happen. However, I found out that behind the scenes, DSP and his buddy were working with Wings of Redemption and Boogie to do this show without me.
We have been having discussions behind the scenes about possibly starting our own podcast, Boogie, Wings, and Me, okay? Here's the truth of the matter from my perspective. I had been talking to Boogie about this, last year, saying, I don't want to do anything with Keem, but if you want to do something with me, just you and me, we could have a conversation. We could do our own show. We could just interview each other just for the benefit of each other's channels, whatever you would want to do.
So I called Boogie. I called Wings. We immediately kicked DSP off the show, but we needed a replacement. That's why we grabbed the legendary Tommy C. Roll it.
Yourself, you're a fucking liar, you're a piece of shit, you're not a journalist, you don't give a, you're a clout chasing, just another YouTuber, you're no different than anybody else, you don't give a rat's ass, and you can suck my.
So everything was set, except for in our Lolcow podcast group chat, there was a random person that nobody seemed to know. He came from DSP, and this guy went and created all the Lolcow podcast socials, and none of us had access to it.
And Keem has no idea who the this guy is, and he's been producing the show for 3 months.
Pretty much.
So we kicked that guy out, we made a new group, we made socials across the internet called Lolcow Live, and we have our cows, Tommy C, Wings of Redemption, Boogie2988, but we also have our farmers. Ladies and gentlemen, Muta, Some Ordinary Gamers, Turkey Tom, Nicholas DiOrio. They're the B team. We got the A team with the cows, the B team with the farmers. This whole show is something that you have never seen before on a podcast, and it's finally happening. It's happening now.
We got to do this. We got to line it up again. And on 3, when I say the word 3, clap into your microphone. Can we all handle that? All right. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. You guys line up? Think we're good?
I don't know, man. I tried.
All right. When I say the word 3, I'm going to clap to my microphone. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Boogie, did you even attempt to clap?
Yes, you can see it on the video if you don't believe me.
All right, sure. That's good. Well, if I can see your hands, it's probably easy to line up. All right.
Well, we're not using an app that does that, unfortunately, but maybe we'll figure it out next week. Maybe there's a way we can see each other.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is the way they want it, and this is the way we're going to do it.
Well, I'm just saying there might be a way for us to backwards engineer still seeing me able to see each other.
I think we probably could do live. If this thing gets possible, we probably could do live.
It's not as big a deal, Boogie. Like, we just do it the way they want to do it, and.
No, I'm just saying maybe there's still a way we can find.
So why do you care?
Yeah.
Why do you care?
Just saying
all you got to do is send the video in. That's it.
Well, Tommy said I can't see you, so I'm like, well, maybe next week we'll find a way to where you can. That would be cool. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what's wrong with what I'm saying, but I was just saying that maybe next week we can find a way that we can see each other.
Let me start the show.
I know what I'm saying is wrong. I never do.
You didn't say anything wrong. You're perfect. You're always perfect.
Well, far from
I
that.
have to get in a good mood. I have to get in a jokey mood. So you can do this all you want. You're not ruining my day. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Lolcow Live. I know you've been waiting for it. This is what was going to be the Lolcow podcast. I'm in here with Boogie2988, who's a real celebrity, and, of course, the legendary COD player.
Oh, my God.
Probably the best BOG player in Call of Duty history, Wings of Redemption. How are you fellas doing?
Boy.
Yes, you do. That's true. That's something to be proud of. Kind of like this documentary that just came out about Boogie. Hi, Boogie. How are you? We just fought for the last 30 minutes, and you seem to be going through a lot of stress over the documentary. I don't know why, because it was fantastic.
Well, it's been a pretty stressful time. I've got a lot of stuff that, believe it or not, I'm keeping offline for a change.
Oh, really?
Going on.
I bet you won't.
Believe it or not.
I bet you'll spill it eventually.
I will eventually, I think.
Yes, you will. Okay, let's just be real.
If nothing else, people will read about it in the papers, you know.
One thing I didn't see in the documentary is you didn't discuss your therapist at all. Are you still seeing the therapist?
No, I've actually took a break.
Really?
Yeah, I started taking a break in June.
I would have thought you've been going there for years. You're doing so well.
Oh, I have been going off and on since I was 15, I think, or 16. I started taking therapy serious when I was 20. But most people go in and out of therapy.
Is that
specifically, like people have like what I've got going on. You learn a bunch of new skills. You learn a bunch of new stuff to do, and then you have to go practice it. And then inevitably, people like me will relapse, and then you got to go back in. You got to learn what you did wrong. It's a constant thing, and so I've actually been out of therapy since June.
Is that about the time the recording finished or the film finished up?
Oh no, I mean that started I think in February, and it's been off and on since February to now. But I took a break in June. It was mostly financial. Therapy's fucking expensive. Man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things. That was one of the things the film went out. Me too.
Therapy only works if you want it to work.
Well, I've had therapy before. And
therapy only works if you do.
You don't want it to work then? You just want to spend the money, or?
Therapy only works if you want it to work, and therapy only works if you put in the work. And I can be kind of lazy sometimes, so I haven't always put in the work.
Yeah,
but I think if anybody knew me when I was 20,
how would you know it worked for anybody if you never put in the work for yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Well, but I have. I mean, if you knew me when I was,
you've had successes in the world of therapy.
Yeah, I mean, if you met me when I was 20 years old, Tommy, you wouldn't even recognize that I was the same person.
Really?
I was like such a
thin and good looking.
I was definitely not thin and good looking.
Oh, okay.
I was definitely just angry all the time. I woke up angry. I went to bed angry. I was just miserable from every moment to the moment I go to bed. These days I have a break from the anger. These days I have a break from the misery, and I don't think that would have happened without therapy. Sometimes I can see the positivity, sometimes I can see the light, sometimes I can and be a slightly more positive person, and that all came from
therapy. That sounds like bullshit. Wings, how do you think about what do you think about the documentary? You apparently you got 20,000 viewers or something like that. I heard 10,000 in a stream.
I did a review stream on it, and about 22,000 people showed up to watch me review it. And Boogie was talking about being mad at Moist Critical in his views. I'm like, I hope he didn't watch my shit, because I kind of went hard in the paint on it. But
you went harder than Moist Critical? I watched that video.
Easily went harder than Moist Critical. And I love Boogie to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that some people, you treat people differently based on who they are as a person, not who you want them to be as a person, right? And I love Boogie to death. I think he's a great person. But I try to be entertaining, and one of the ways I try to be entertaining is being witty. And
so wait a minute, you love Boogie to death, and I can attest for that with my few experiences with you both. How did Moist Critical go easier on Boogie? He basically said that he's a bad person. And then at the same time kind of said, but it's really sad. Well, why is it sad if he's such a bad person? Did we watch
the same video? Because the video I watched, he was breaking down Boogie's sex worker dependency, and then but he did, and yes, and then he broke it down that here's the weird thing.
Boogie comes out and he says that, like, this is the way I took the video, okay? All right, he spent over $200K on sex workers, right? And Boogie, the way when I first watched the video, he's just saying, this is basically how I wasted all my money. That I just got involved because I wanted to be with a Hollywood 10 and not an Arkansas 8. And those things. Charlie takes that and basically says and wraps it up in he's a horrible person that treats women as just sexual gratification.
See, here's what I got from that.
That's much worse than what you did.
No, what I got from that is he mistook something Boogie said in a sarcastic tone out of context as Boogie saying that he deserves to be fucking hot women.
But how did he take that out of context? You and me didn't take that away from it.
He took it sarcastically.
No, but he took Boogie literally. Boogie was saying, okay, I blew all this money on hookers because I'm kind of an idiot, right? And he took it as Boogie thinks he should be allowed to sleep with LA 10s because he's formerly a huge YouTube star. And I'm like, I'm watching this, and in fairness to fucking Boogie, and I'm the last guy right now to stick up for Boogie2988 because you have no idea what an asshole he was before the show, right?
Hey, man, I'll be honest, before the show, just so people know,
you're a jerk off.
I told him there was one thing I really didn't want mentioned, and you're like, you're just trying to manipulate me. And I'm like, no, there's just one thing I don't want to talk about today. You're like, you're manipulating me. You're trying to get out of the show.
Right. And then when I agreed to it, what did you do? You made one more demand. And then when when we got by that, then why do we record things different?
No, I just had two. I had two requests.
This is the problem with your whole life.
No.
Anybody that tries to help you try to sandbag and manipulate.
Let me speak. I had two requests. There's a content creator who
don't bring it up if you're gonna talk about it, pussy. If you're gonna sit there and we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. You're not going to bring this up. I'll talk about him right now. If we're not doing this half-assed, if you told me no and I agreed to it, okay, you're not going to sit there and walk right up to the door. Drop it.
I guess if you speak his name, you speak it.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying, and you just proved to the entire audience that you're trying to control me. So drop it.
Well, I'm just saying.
So let's get back to Charlie.
There's two things I didn't want to talk about today.
And and you're hoping I talk about it so it can give you an excuse to walk off the podcast.
No, well then let's start.
Well then drop it. Drop it. Okay, good. I'm gonna do a Boogie does. I'm gonna do a Boogie does. Somebody doesn't do this
here. Like Boogie.
Can we start over then?
No, let's not.
No. This is perfect.
This is perfect. Then let me ask you this, Boogie. When you were spending that money on those women, did it never cross your mind to like maybe pay the house off?
Yeah, but you got to remember, I was suicidal back then, so I didn't.
Did you ever think that none of them were LA 10s and you're fucking fooling yourself?
Oh yeah, I knew that. I always knew that, Tom.
Yeah, but it sounds good on the video if you're saying they're LA 10s, right?
I mean, again,
because like my wife watched the documentary today because we did a lot. We rewatched the documentary. We watched the Charlie video to try to prep for this. To try to, to have questions asked. And my wife brought up a couple good points.
Hi, Kelly.
And like one of the points is that you said you never felt like you loved a woman. And like, when you married? Like, did you not love your first wife at all?
I don't. Well,
she was really good at accounting.
I don't think I said that.
You did say that.
No, I definitely did not say that.
Didn't you say that? I think he was on drugs when he said something like that. In fairness.
Oh my God. This is the first time I've ever felt happiness.
I don't know.
He was on the. He did like Boogie had the greatest idea, like the best idea ever. Nothing else. Therapy hasn't worked for me, so let me do hardcore drugs. And
don't get me wrong, psychedelics. If you do the research, there's I mean, every city in the country right now they're doing ketamine treatments. And ketamine combined with
what is ketamine
for therapy? Traditional ketamine is basically horse tranquilizer. But it's a psychedelic, and it works for human beings. And every doctors
and it cures COVID.
Well, no, what it does do actually, it does help with PTSD. It does help with childhood trauma. If you do the research, it's out there.
You can watch a documentary. I used to know this bitch that used to get horse antibiotics because she couldn't afford to go to the doctor. I don't know if that's the same thing.
So to beat COVID, like Joe
Rogan. But I don't think it does anything with any physical diseases or anything like that. But it does help a lot with mental health. Specifically, there's a documentary you can watch on Netflix called "How to Change Your Mind," and they get into it there. And the research.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about your.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you brought it up.
That's right. That's right. I want to talk about your documentary.
Well, in my specific case, I found that research to be true. It seemed to create some neuroplasticity in my brain, and I did 3 sessions in the next 2 weeks with my therapist.
I think your
and
exact
I made
quote-
more progress in that period of time than I think I've ever made.
Really? So that quote, I think, Wings, what he said was, "This is the first time I felt joy." That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah,
that
that's
was
what
it.
I said.
I don't think the first time he ever
Yeah.
fell in love.
Wait, what? Happiness.
I might have
That's
misquoted
good.
it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, fair enough.
You said you're suicidal, but you didn't want to pay the house off at that point. It's like,
Well, why would you waste your money on a house you're never going to live in?
Why would
that
you-
doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, but
I just wanted
why
to
would you
spend
buy gifts for
my
hookers?
plan at the time was to spend through my money and then pop my brains.
yeah,
you know?
but why would
That
you
was the
spend
plan.
like you're literally getting like fucking GameStop cards or some shit like that in purses to buy for hookers who you're paying for sex to begin with.
Like you'll see in a lot of interviews, Mike said that he ballparked a lot of these figures. We didn't like sit down and look at receipts or anything. There was no GameStop gift certificates. There was no gift certificates or anything like that. There were gifts, there were trips, there were things along that lines. And most of the time, it wasn't like I took somebody on a trip with me. I would like go to LA to see my friends, to go to the Game Awards, to go film haunt season, stuff like that. And while I was out there, I'd take like one night to meet somebody and hang out. So like a lot of that, to begin with, the $200,000 figure got severely rounded up. And then the majority of that money was spent on just traveling. You know, most of it was like getting out my fat ass out there. Like,
Why would you do that if you couldn't afford it, though?
Well, I could afford it at the time, but yeah, I definitely could afford it at the time. I'm not doing it now because I can't afford it.
Have paid on pussy?
It said $200K, and
I mean, he says $200K is not legitimate. What's the real number?
Specifically on that,
$190K.
maybe. God, it's not any better than that, really. To speak it out loud, Tommy. Probably 40.
40?
If I had to estimate,
not that bad.
40K.
across 3 years.
I mean, like
40K in 1
like,
year.
in my
Were you
head,
having sex every
that's
night?
pretty fucking
Yeah,
bad.
but
If
wait a minute. How
I
much
had that money right now, I'd be
How
very
much
over
is
the moon.
sex? Oh, see, you were buying them. See, most people, what they do is they give the hooker whatever, $100, $200 and sleep with them and get rid of it. You were taking them out to, like, why are you taking hookers?
Oh
out
shit!
to
I
dinner?
did some stupid shit with them. I sent an autistic kid to fucking school. Like this.
I think it's more interesting talking about the pussy.
Well, no, but I'm saying like that. No, I'm saying like
It's not
so
stupid
for
shit.
someone
That's
I
like-
knew.
like-
I sent their kid to fucking school.
Oh, it was
like
it
I
was a
spent my
hooker's
money on
kid.
doing shit like that. Yeah, like I did.
You
I
sent
did
a
all
hooker's
kinds of
kid to
things.
school?
Yeah, I really did. I helped somebody
I
like
was over
the
here thinking
documentary
like you
said. I
being
helped somebody
sweet,
with
like I called
their
the local
nursing
school and, like,
degree.
paid off people's lunches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Jesus.
I did a lot of
You've paid off the girlfriend's kid stuff before, though. You're not 100%.
I'm not-
You're a good person. You've done that before yourself.
Well, one of my first long-term relationships had 2 kids, and like I was stupid and I was in love and stuff like that. I've spent my own degree of money, but like 40,000 ain't that bad. I mean, like
were they hookers?
No,
Were they hookers?
No, they weren't.
Or they were
hookers.
girlfriend?
They were my girlfriend at the time, but like
Oh, fair enough.
you haven't beat like DSP's Hogan pools yet, so like you're still good on the hooker foundation in my book.
Why didn't you just sleep with them and like call it a day? Why did you have? Is it like I noticed like
Nobody will believe me when I tell them, but I was just trying everything I could to just be out of pain. I was like in a very bad place mentally and also physically, and going through the divorce and getting bypass surgery and everything else.
But why? No, that doesn't answer my question though. Why taking them out? Why the dinner date? Like why buy them a purse?
Because I thought that might help. Just straight up like sex didn't help. So I thought, well, what if we went
Did
to
it do
this
anything
place
for you,
together?
like,
What if we did
mentally,
this
like-
thing
like-
together? What if we travel? Oh no, it never helped. It was a very. It's like the
Because,
food. Like the food is fucking killing me, but I keep eating it.
Well,
you know?
I'm just saying, like,
And so it was always a self-destructive act.
How did you
But I
pay? How did you pay? You pay by the hour? Like how did it work?
Generally, it's more like, hey, I need help with this, so help me with this, and I would help them with that. That's generally what would happen.
That's what. Wait a minute. You pick and see. I don't know how it works. Look, I was in the army. All right.
You meet
But
somebody
I was in the army.
meet somebody.
In Europe. How
Well,
does it work?
you meet somebody online.
Yeah.
You talk for a little while. You get to know them. You hang out a couple of times.
And then you pay them?
And then they'll be like, hey, so this is what I'm looking for. Like, I need help with this. I need help sending my kids to school. I need help with my nursing degree.
oh, so
I
you
need
actually
whatever.
were doing sugar daddy
And so,
shit.
like,
You weren't
then-
like, going on like skip the game.
Right. There you go.
But it said sex workers. One girl, you actually cured
It
some
still
girl sex
is.
work. I mean,
it still is. Yeah, I mean, it's.
I guess.
This is
Actually, it sounds more like you're being fooled. Now you're paying for a sec. Like I'm thinking you're
So did you
applying
ever get a long-term
for
relationship
someone.
about this?
Might
Do
as
it?
well have.
Not really. I mean, like, there's people I knew for a long time, but it's not. It's none of it's like an ever actual relationship. It's nothing like what I have now.
Weird. Most people are going up looking like, I want a blonde. I want her to be 5 foot whatever. I want her to be this thin. And you're like no one ever hears about like some hooker's fucking kid or anything. Or
do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, Tommy?
How did that happen? That's what I want to know. How does this happen? Most people go on for sex. Like you went for something else. That's interesting.
I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think the mental state I was in was I wanted to feel useful. I wanted to feel appreciated. I wanted to feel like a good person. And doing that let me feel like those things.
So basically, okay, so let me get this straight. You would solicit a hooker online, and then you would treat him like a girlfriend?
No, he was.
No,
he's sugar babies.
Yeah, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, but that's what you said. The thing they said it was sex work.
But at the end of the day, it is a variation of a different thing. Like like there's high end delicious chocolate, and there's like low end fucking Milky Ways or whatever. Yeah. Right. Like it's a difference between.
So let me ask you a question.
So if they were better looking, or like more relationship.
Well, one's about sex and one's about companionship.
Like in the documentary.
Okay. All right. I can get that.
In the documentary, you're like scrolling down like a page of women. Are those actually women on like the sugar babying site?
Ugly bitches, by the way. Ugly broads. Oh my god.
Is that an Arkansas usually there? Because I didn't see Arkansas.
Yeah. That's pretty much what you expect to see in Northwest Arkansas. Yeah, pretty much accurate. Yeah.
I mean, those are like Monk Corner 4s, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
You might understand why I was traveling.
How much are those girls per hour? I'm interested.
I wouldn't know.
They don't
how do you not know? You're on the fucking website.
No, they don't charge per hour.
What I did was nothing like by the hour or anything. None of that was by the hour.
What did you buy? What program did you buy?
What do you mean, what program?
Like, all right, you didn't do it by the hour, but what did you buy? Like
I said, you'd meet somebody online. You would talk to them for a while. You would get to know them. You'd go on a few dates. Then they would be like, "Here's the thing that I need help with."
You can't leave me.
And then you would help them with that thing
without giving this girl's identity away. Which one would you say was the one that you shugged for the most? Like, what was the most outrageous one?
The one that quit sex work.
The one with the autistic kid. I felt a lot of compassion for her situation. I felt a lot of compassion for the kid, and they. Did
you actually talk to the kid? Because this would make it more weird.
Yeah,
I met him a couple times.
Buddy, I'm Boogie2988 from YouTube.
They came over for my Thanksgiving during COVID. That was a thing we did.
Was this after or before? I guess this is when your wife left, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you just you were trying to make a little family for yourself, is what you're doing.
Well, I my thought process was, and it's not like this now, but at the time I wasn't emotionally available. So I wanted companionship, but I knew I was not emotionally available at all. Yeah. So my thought process was, I could be financially available, and so maybe I can do that. Maybe I can feel like the hero. Maybe I can feel good.
So you
maybe
feel like
I can be appreciated, and in the process, have the companionship I was looking for. But I also knew, like, I knew I couldn't date after that divorce. Like,
and this is a sex worker we're talking about.
Well, no. Again, they're in the same genre, but it's very different from what you're imagining. Yeah, it's very different from what you're imagining.
I can't imagine this. That's the problem. And you're
right.
I
mean, like, sex is a lot of the times not like tertiary. It's like it's all the way in the back. That's something that will happen most of the time, but it's nobody's goal.
So do you think that I'm not surprised you said any of this, by the way. Do you think Charlie's was like extra brutal? I thought he sounded like a fucking prude.
I watched it.
I think he sounded like a prude that deliberately took you out of context.
No,
that's what it sounded. I think you're afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that.
I watched it on.
Like he deliberately took you out of context, and while you were saying this is all the stupid stuff I done with the money, he took that somehow, some way as I demand women, I deserve women, I'm entitled to LA 10s. I don't know how he twisted that. And Wings,
well, I'll be honest with you.
You felt the same way when you wrote that when you saw that, right?
I heard when Boogie said that he was being sarcastic, and I think
that's what I thought.
Yes, I thought Charlie was.
When I said it, from the horse's mouth. When I said that, I was talking in the past tense. If you listen to if you listen to it, right, it's clearly past tense.
I thought you were talking in the past tense. I thought you were saying, like, he's saying you were being sarcastic. That's how Wings took it. I took it as sarcasm, but sarcasm in the sense is this is what an idiot I was. This is why I blew all this fucking money.
Yeah, right? And that's
my biggest issue.
So I watched Charlie's.
My biggest issue.
I
with
watched Charlie's
he's a
video on live stream.
multimillionaire,
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie's got like a dildo collection. He spends his money the way he spends his money. Like, I'm not here to judge
he really?
Charlie, right? But he's not going broke either, right? And I'm a huge fan of Charlie, so I might be a little bit biased. But here's how I took
He
Charlie's
thinks you're
video.
a bad person that
that's okay.
walks up to the door to abuse women. How can you think he's okay? Come on now. I don't even think that about you.
I don't know, man. I don't like you and I just argued for 30 minutes. I don't have a bad bone in my body for you. Tom. I don't have a bad bone in my body.
I can't hate you because I know you're fucked up. I can't hate you.
I look at voice critical as life ain't fair, the world is mean, because he's got 4 million views on that video critiquing your documentary, which took months to make.
Yeah,
and he's gonna make like more money than anybody in this.
I watched Charlie's video, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But he did go in really fucking hard, and I do feel like maybe he misinterpreted some parts of it here and there. But here's the thing: when you put a piece of art out in the world, me and Mike Clum had like a 3-hour conversation about this.
Fair enough.
And like he had to talk me off the ledge. God bless Mike for that. But we were up to like 4 o'clock that night after Charlie's video dropped. And like I ultimately figured out during the conversation is like when you put a piece of art out of the world, people are going to interpret it how they interpret it. And Charlie interpreted it that way. I know what my intentions was with it. Mike knows what his intentions was with it. But it doesn't matter what your intentions are.
Well, don't you think he's a little bit of phony? Does he think he's being a little bit of phony? Because on one hand, he's saying, I watched this and it's really sad. He starts and ends the video off, and in the middle, you're a bad person. Well, why is he sad about a bad person?
I don't know.
I don't get that.
At the end of the day, he might just be leaning into the showbiz aspect of it. I do wonder.
So you are saying he's a phony? That he's
I'm not saying he's
jumping on the
phony.
bandwagon.
I'm saying he's an entertainer. Let's take Keemstar, for example. I'm going to talk shit about Keemstar. Love to do that, okay? Keemstar genuinely is a good person. I hate to admit that. But I've spent enough time around Keemstar to where I can tell you he cares about people. He cared about etiquette. He cares about me.
The etiquette stuff they put.
Right?
No, the etiquette stuff. That whole thing they did to Keem on the etiquette stuff is bullshit.
Right, but what I'm saying
I wouldn't say he's a nice person.
But Keemstar will play the bad guy online as much as he can, and he can be an actual bad guy quite a bit too. But he will hype it up 10 times, 20 times for the entertainment value, because at the end of the day, I don't think Keemstar is a phony. I think he's an entertainer.
For sure. No.
And I think Charlie was trying to be the most entertaining he could for his video.
I agree with you what you said about Cameron. Like, he does put it on. He does play the bad guy. And yes, he's crossed the zone in the bad guy. But I think it's so, but what you're telling, that's not the kind of audience that Charlie has. Charlie has an audience, they take him deadly serious. They want to believe that he is who he appears to be.
Well, I think, again, he is.
It sounded like a weird contradiction. I feel bad for this guy, yet he essentially thinks you're a misogynist. I mean, that's literally what he was kind of, without using the word, a narcissist.
I mean, he might actually say
that.
You
are a narcissist.
Like I said,
fair. But
I think I'm finally able to admit that I'm a covert narcissist. It's something I'm working on. But that said,
okay, fair enough.
I think Charlie absolutely probably thinks that, but has hyped it up a little bit for the video, right? Like, like so. One of his classic memes is when he's like, "Woo!" He's probably not that excited. He's being sarcastic for entertainment value. Maybe that's what he was doing.
I don't think it makes any sense. I don't think.
I do think there's a grain of truth. I think there's a grain of truth that he thinks I'm a piece of shit.
Yes.
And here's why: because I am kind of a piece of shit.
You think?
I definitely fucked up. I did some really stupid shit.
I don't think you're a piece of shit, but you're manipulative.
Talking about being manipulative,
yeah, I mean,
piece of shit.
Like, I think that comes with
job interview.
You are here today because you are seeking employment.
Yeah, I am disabled. Downside to that is I am extremely depressed. I have no references, no work history, and no education. When you Google my name, you might see rumors that I beat my ex-wife and I am also a pedophile. Should mention I'm also a felon.
What's the nature of your felony?
Aggravated assault. I did work in the porn industry for the better part of 7 years, so I mean...
Be real with me. Do you really think it would be a good idea to go to a real interview and reference porn?
It depended on the job, I would think.
I thought that was a work.
No, yeah, I thought it was a work too. I thought it was a fucking actress you put in.
I'll tell you what it was. It was him trying to get out of this fucking podcast. He went into that interview, sitting there telling everything that you shouldn't say in an interview.
I didn't want to get out of the podcast.
You didn't want to work. You didn't want to work. You didn't want to work.
I'm here. Like, if I didn't want to work, I wouldn't work. No, but there, I'll tell you what actually happened, and Mike will confirm this. We went into it with every intention of, would it actually be possible to get a job? That's the fingers crossed, right? And so we do like before the cameras are rolling, we sit down and we talk a little bit, and it's very clear from the get-go this company has no interest in me.
Yeah.
So we basically decided to.
So you told them you were in the porn industry.
Right. I decided to do the Andy Kaufman thing, which is just try to be fucking hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Because we already found out that this shit's shut down. Like, this is a non-starter. We are here, and we are wasting our time. There's nothing this company has no interest
Charlie
in
thinks you
whatsoever.
sandbagged it. Charlie thinks
Yeah,
you
I know.
sandbagged
That's how it's said.
I kind of thought so, too.
There's some film on the cutting room floor that happened in between some of the conversations that we've seen.
Yeah. There's the extended cuts, which you can see, but then there's also stuff that was said when the camera wasn't even rolling. And so at the end of the day, it was a real job interview. We went in there in the hopes that this company would be able to do something for me, but it became abundantly clear almost right away that the most this was going to get to be was a good mock interview, and we practiced.
Well, see, that
so
doesn't
I pulled
make
my
any
Andy
sense
Kaufman
because
shit.
that doesn't make any sense because at one point the woman says to you, "Do you think bringing up porn would be a good idea?"
Well, she was trying to like train me. Like that's what they do.
Oh, that was what it was.
Yeah, they're basically like a headhunter.
So Charlie
They're going to
misunderstood.
send you on interviews. Yeah.
So Charlie misunderstood that because he took that as you were trying to sandbag the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that place is basically like a headhunter place. Once they like approve of you, then they'll send you out to companies that need that kind of person. And so it was basically a mock interview.
you had the greatest response of all time. I got to be honest
not-
with you, Boogie. Do you know what you said? Do you know what you said was brilliant? When she said to you, "Do you think that would be a good idea to say on an interview?" And you just look at your hands and look up and say,
It depended on the job, I would think.
That's the correct answer.
"And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's the funniest part. You're not wrong."
There is another video that will go live on my channel a little bit, but we worked with this guy who was like a fitness trainer, right?
Gotcha.
And almost immediately we realized it was not a good fit. This guy is used to training like athletes, and I can't do a fraction of what he wants me to do.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, let's do 1,000 push-ups. Let's do like 10 million fucking setups, right?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't stand up." And so that one also comes across as when watching it, it's pretty clear that I'm kind of like.
I feel your pain.
It's not in the
here,
actual thing.
I feel your pain here. Boogie.
It's pretty clear that I start trolling that guy like right away. Like I'm fucking with that guy from once I realized that this isn't a good fit. Yeah, just why not just have fun with it, you know?
I remember getting in a fight with a personal trainer because he wanted me to do things I couldn't fucking do. I'm like, dog, I'm 400 pounds. You want me to like do sled pushes into fucking crunches and all this other shit? I'm like, dude.
Do crunches, pussy. Get on that foot punches and play your pussy.
10. I can pay somebody less money to count to 10. I need you to customize me a fucking workout plan. That's what I pay you for.
Well, I'll tell you, so I've done personal trainer and I've done physical therapy, and they were night and fucking day. The personal trainer was like trying to push me like an athlete. The physical trainer was just trying to help me get better. And so the very first time I went in and did, physical therapy, we did like a fraction of what I would do at the gym just when I was swimming last year, right? So I at the end of it, I'm like, I feel like I didn't get my money's worth today because physical therapy is fucking expensive, man. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth.
I know, I've done it myself.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of
Not as
bands and
expensive as
swimming.
pussy, but it's pretty expensive.
And so he says tomorrow you're going to feel it. And he was right. And what that physical therapist did was he targeted my problem areas. A personal trainer, some personal trainers, surely, but a lot of personal trainers are just going to push you like you're an athlete. They push me like I'm injured because I'm injured, right? And so, I don't know, I think if you are an obese person and you're trying to get better, make sure your physical trainer has worked with other obese people, has an education to work with other. Right?
Oh, let's stop talking. Nobody wants to hear
Go to
about
physical
this shit.
therapy. Get into fucking physical
They want
therapy.
to talk
That's where to
about your
be.
goddamn video. No one wants to hear about your fucking physical training.
Well, anyway, the point that I'm making is like that's another one that hopefully one of the extended clips up, and it just shows like sometimes it's just not a good match. Let's just have fun with it, you know.
How'd your girlfriend take it?
She took it pretty well. She's pretty open-minded about showing off her body and stuff like
I'll
that.
say.
And
She seems real ride or die.
you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. She's been doing pretty well with it. Some people have been kind of shitty, but that's always going to happen. But the vast majority of people are just really sweet to her, and I'm actually really grateful for the community for just being like so fucking nice to her. It helps her. It helps me. It helps everybody.
Hypothetical at you, fucking Boogie.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you were dating your current girlfriend and the Frank Hassel shit popped up, you think she would have handled it So you wouldn't have to?
She would have smoked them.
She would have if she wanted to, but I wouldn't have opened the door if I like if there was a chance that she would have got hurt. Like I would have opened the door. The reason I opened the door with Frank is I just didn't give a shit.
I feel like she would have handled it better than you did. I think she'd get in his face with a finger and lay it down. Because he ain't going to hit her.
She would have fanned on that revolver and smoked him.
She might have. She might have, man. But, you know, at the end of the day, as open as she was, her family was they watched the doc and they were really supportive. Really? I was shocked by that.
Her family knows about you? Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. I've met the family. We're having Thanksgiving together. They're actually really fantastic.
You know they're fucking sneak this and then cooking extra fucking food to bring you over.
I'll tell you what her mom has said and her stepdad has said to me. They have said,
stay away from her.
No, they have said, look, you clearly make her very happy, and we just want her to be happy. But if you hurt her, we'll put you underground. That's basically
I thought
what
you were
they
about
said.
to say his father asked you for Geritol advice or some shit like that.
You sure they don't think you're hiding money or something? You think?
They're pretty aware.
I thought she came off really good.
It wasn't the 200K on pussy. It was the fact your girlfriend was like mowing the grass. I'm like, they had to go to the pawn shop and get that fucking lawnmower because Boogie didn't own that bitch before this documentary.
Yeah, you know. We do have a lawnmower. I ain't never fucking started it.
Hey baby, you know, on the lawn today. It's not looking really good out there.
Like I get flack all the time because I have a person that mows my lawn, but like I ain't fucking doing it.
Yeah, I can't do it. You know?
But it's like, how's this little fucking tiny girl out here have this push mower? I'm like,
how can you do a boxing match? You can't push a lawnmower.
I'll be honest with you. So I'll be honest with you. She's within earshot of me right now, so you know I'm telling the truth. Like I'm looking at her basically on the couch.
What's her name? I forgot.
Desi.
Right? Desi.
Yeah. And by the way,
Desi!
Somebody said to me, they're like, "Why did you name her Desiree?"
Like, yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't fucking name her. Her parents, I think people think I made up that name for some reason. What the fuck? I don't understand.
It's kind of
but anyway, her parents named her that shit 21 years ago, almost 21 years
21 years ago.
Yo,
was 50 years old. He dated a 21-year-old.
But she
know what's fucked up about this? Like when Boogie started his YouTube channel, his girlfriend was 3.
Well, good thing I didn't date her then. And I wouldn't have been interested. I'm interested now when she's 20, turning 21.
You know, it's just fucked up, right? It's like, just imagine when you sat down.
Well, here's the thing. If they looked him up back then, it wouldn't have said he's a pedophile like it did in the fucking movie.
If she wrote me on Instagram when I started my YouTube channel, she would have typed goo goo gaga. Like I wouldn't have been interested.
Okay.
Fuck, man. But the point that I'm making is she seems to just really like helping out. Like she's always been a clean person, a neat person. She's always taking care of a home. She's always making a cozy place.
She's an angel.
Yeah, she loves to do that.
She's what you call a good woman.
She's amazing.
I wake up every day.
I have a confession.
Up with a good woman.
Maybe this is good for the podcast.
Miracle. Yeah.
Although I haven't watched Desi as much. I'll be honest with you. But both your current girlfriends seem to be.
I'm married, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's married, man.
I like Kelly. I like her a lot. I like when she took over the show.
Really great.
I like when she took over the show world because you're too lazy to do it. She made a bunch of money for you. I watched that episode.
I think the more that people get to know Desi, the more they're just going to like her. I'll tell you. Let me brag about her one more time, and then you can say whatever you want to say.
Goof on her.
But she took all my old Christmas shit. I haven't bought Christmas shit in a long time, right? But I had like old garlands and like my tree I bought like 3 years ago. That and we spent like $40 at Walmart. And she has turned my living room into a fucking winter wonderland. I'll share it eventually on social media. But, like, it's so warm and cozy and wonderful in there, and it would not have looked like that shit had she not taken the time and the effort to put it together. And I love it. I mean, I'm so into that shit. I'm tired of living in piles of garbage, like piles of amiibos and plastic shit. And the fact that she's like fixing my house for me makes me so fucking happy. So I don't know why I got so lucky.
She does seem kind of ride or die. Like I look, I'm a cynical person, as you might know. That's probably why I got this role. I mean, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I want to know what her real fucking angle is. But if she does have an angle, and I'm not saying she does because I don't know that for a fact, she did a tremendous job of coming off absolutely genuine in that.
Yeah.
I still don't believe it. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I can't figure it out. You can't either. Exactly. Yeah.
I think her angle is.
Believe it or not, I had a couple girls just like her message me. Like some girls like big fucking dudes.
Yeah, that's true. No, I've seen that before.
I think her angle is just like
She loves you, really?
Yeah, I think she just wanted to like have
I hope
a
so.
happy life, man. She just wanted to have a happy life, and she thought that maybe I could be part of that happy life.
A broke ass guy that's overweight, fucking.
Well, I've said this a million times. If you get with a woman who sees your potential, then that's the woman you fucking marry. And that girl sitting in there on the couch right now sees my potential.
That's the one you fooled.
Maybe.
I'll tell you a story. Can I say a story? Because I know this guy. This show's about you guys, but I'm going to tell a quick story. I want to say,
yeah, please.
Because we're on women's stuff. All right. There was a band in Jersey when I was growing up. I was kind of involved in the Jersey hardcore scene when I was a kid, and there's this band called Fury of Five, right? And we went to go see Fury 5, and they were out in the parking lot in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And I was talking to the bass player. I was like, you guys are so cool. You're going. He says, listen, it's really nice talking to you, kid, but I got to go work. What do you mean go to work? You just came from back of a tour of Europe. He's like, dude, we're not that big yet. Everybody works except the lead singer. And I'm like, what do you mean? James is mean. The lead singer doesn't work. He's like, yeah. Well, he goes, kid, why don't you go ask him why we work and he doesn't? I'm like, I will. I'll go over there. I'll ask him. So I go over there and I ask him. I was like, the other guys are all going to work tomorrow. How come? And he looks at me right in the eye and he goes, son, it's because I live off of women. I'm like, what? Like, why would you say that proudly? And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? He said, look, it's just like this. You could live off of women your whole life. He says, what are you doing for a living, kid? I was like, well, I'm trying to be an internet tech. That's my thing. And he said, that's good. And you'll only be able to make maybe $80,000 a year at that time in the 90s, maybe $100,000 before you retire. Okay, what's the limit? That's the limit for you. What's the limit for a rock star, right? Well, yeah, millions. He's like, exactly. Will I hit that? Probably not. But she doesn't know that, does she? Potential. You're absolutely right, Boogie. So as soon as that girl thinks you have potential, marry that bitch because she probably fucking figured you wrong anyway. There you go. Do you agree with me, Wings? I think that guy's onto something. You marry if a girl thinks you got something going on. If she thinks you will make money, if she thinks you will be successful, if she thinks you will, you're gonna get her like that.
You want a woman that builds, but I'm from South Carolina. Like if I had to live off a woman, I'd probably off myself.
Oh, Jesus Louises. Oh, boy, Keem's going to fucking ream you out. I can't wait, Boogie.
Oh, did you see this? Did you see this in the do you see this in the Lolcow live chat?
Yeah, I can't talk about it because you won't let me.
No, let's talk about it. No,
you want to talk about it now? Do you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, Muta says we can. Muta says we can. Muta says we can. Let's go.
Muta says we can. Okay.
Yeah, Muta says we can.
Okay, fine. Can we be friends again now, Boogie? Because I was really mad at you. Okay.
I understand.
I'm going to shiver shake on it. Okay. Here's what I know. I'm going to start this off calm so it doesn't get like out of fucking control. All right.
Yeah.
I got to say
something. You said to me, I was going to bring up like Mutahar. You've had some problems. You've had some issues with Mutahar, right?
Yeah. I'm scared shitless. I'm scared shitless of that guy.
So, and tell us what you told me before. You compared Mutahar fan base to like you're afraid like one of Mutahar's
No, I'm just afraid. I'm afraid of crazy people doing crazy shit. And like when somebody is as big as Mutahar, where he's got like 10 million followers and he gets like 5 million views on a video, if he's like he's really mad at me. Like he'll tell you publicly, he has said it publicly, he thinks I'm the worst piece of shit and he wishes the worst for me. And he'll say that a million times, right? He's tweeted it several times this last week. And I
just saw it cut it. You missed off the second recording?
Yeah, the desktop audio thing, I turned it off for the first recording, and then when we restarted it, it turned the desktop audio back on, and I just noticed it.
Well, we can if we need to start over, that's fine. We'll start over with fucking talking about Muta first.
Do that whole fucking thing again.
That's okay. I'm in a better headspace anyway. Let's do it.
Hold on, dude. The stuff, dude.
I didn't talk that much, so like it could be.
Well, you know what? We'll keep it going. We'll send it in.
Cool. Okay.
Something like that. So let's nobody fucking hit stop. Nobody.
I haven't.
You haven't. Have you hit stop, Boogie?
No, I haven't.
Wigs?
No, I haven't hit stop. I paused.
Let's just fucking ride it out.
I paused the desktop audio like 4 minutes ago.
Let's go back. Let's start with Mutahar again. Let's scratch that whole fucking thing. I'm going to ask you about Mutahar again.
Go ahead.
Here's how I'm going to open it up. All right. Okay, so in the beginning, me and you got in a big fight, Boogie, before the cast started, and it was about Mutahar, and you told me not to bring up, which I agreed to, and then you had a bunch of other fucking stipulations.
Well, no, I just wanted you to be nice. I just wanted you to be nice to my girlfriend. That was it.
Fuck your girlfriend. How about that? All right, here's you wanted that's neither here fucking either near or there. So you told me that you were going to walk if Mutahar had anything to do with this because apparently you guys are having beef behind the scene. Like what the fuck? And you're telling me that he's as crazy, or his fans are potentially as crazy?
No,
as Frank
well,
Castle?
so
Really?
I have paranoia issues. I think we all agree with that.
I
right?
agree with that.
And it comes along with the anxiety and the other stuff. Muta's been mad at me for like years, rightfully so, because I've been a manipulative piece of shit. Like, I'll be the first to admit that, right?
Okay.
And so like in the last couple of weeks, Muta has definitely decided that I'm like not a great person. And he's like tweeted. I mentioned him on Twitter because of all this group chat shit that leaked, and so he was like, "You're the worst kind of person. I think you're manipulative. I'm open about it. I only wish the worst for you." Blah blah blah. And that's fine. He's entitled to his opinion.
When did he say that? Did he say that before or after you started fucking DMing his girlfriend?
It was after. It was a week, like right after
his girlfriend.
Well, no, it was before. It was well before, like a week before.
So he said you're the worst. You hope the worst happens to you before you DM'd his girlfriend.
I think so. Yes.
In fairness to you,
I can
by
bring
the way,
if you want me to. I can't bring up his tweets because we got each other blocked.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, his tweets basically said, "Look, I'm very open about how much I hate you. What a manipulative piece of shit I think you are, and that you deserve everything that's ever happened to you." I think that's a direct quote.
Okay. That hurt your feelings.
No, it didn't hurt my feelings. It scares the shit out of me. It scares the shit out of me.
How does that scare the shit out of you that he's venting to you privately? That's so ridiculous.
No, that was public. That was public.
Have you
been swatted?
Yeah, you're confusing the things he said privately and what he's tweeted publicly.
Yeah.
And so when you have an audience of like 10 million people and you're wishing the worst for somebody, that's really scary for me. That's just really scary for me. And so I DM'd Muta and I tried to say, like, look, man, I just wish we could leave each other alone. And he agreed, which I thought was awesome. And then 2 days later, I pulled a classic Boogie and I was promoting a video. And Keemstar's like, you need to talk about this. You need to talk about this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll mention it in the tweet. I'm like, hey, after that group shot leaked, I thought it'd be good to let my girlfriend speak for herself. So here's a video of her speaking for herself instead of Keemstar and Mutahar and everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. And Muta's, I guess, girlfriend or wife, I think wife. He's telling me wife.
I thought it was girlfriend. I did a podcast with her. Yeah.
But apparently she saw that. And I didn't know who she was. I don't know who Doge Angles is, but I guess that's a person.
Yeah.
And so she was like, oh my God, you fucking snake, you fucking piece of shit and whatever. And so like Mutahar messaged me and he's like, hey, look, I'm being really nice to you right now. And I've agreed, I'm not going to make a video about you because I wouldn't want a 10 out of 10 video on my channel anyway. But I do think you're worthless. I do think you're a piece of shit. I don't think you should be fucking mentioning the stuff. You asked for a ceasefire and then you went back. That's a shitty thing to do, Boogie. Don't do that shit.
But I got a DMs right now that have been posted in the chat that's saying this fucking agreement never happened.
Well, I can show you. I mean, I literally have the screen. I'll send you the screen cap right now.
Post
yeah, I will.
Chat. Yeah, because
but I told him.
What Muta said. We don't have a deal, lol. Muta, quick, give a person for Boogie to talk about you. He made that retarded shit up in his head. That's what he said. He said you made this shit up.
I maybe he didn't read what I said, but what I said to him, and I'll show it to you in the chat, is I said, look, from here on out, I'm going to Will Smith you. I'm going to keep your name the fuck out of my mouth. I'm literally looking at that right now. I'm reading it to you word for word. And so my thought process was, since I promised to do that, I should do that. And I told you today, I just didn't want to bring up Muta because Muta's scares me. He scares me. He does. He's got a very large audience, and there are some crazy people out there. And I don't think Muta's. I'm not scared of Muta. Don't get me wrong. I should not say I'm scared of Muta. I'm just scared that there's a lot of people in his audience that might Frank Hassel my ass, and I don't want that shit to happen again.
But here's the thing, though.
I can't.
Frank Hassel ain't the worst thing that happened. Like Boogie, you yourself made the Frank Hassel thing worse.
I spent $29,000 to stay out of jail and I'm a felon. It was pretty fucking bad.
On your own mistake.
Yeah, but if somebody else shows up at my front door tomorrow, don't expect me to handle it that much better. I ain't that fucking sane.
Yeah.
I've been saying, like,
I'm not a very sane person.
Have you been swatted at all?
I just don't want to be put back in a situation like that. And Mutahar, I have no ill feelings towards Mutahar. I don't particularly like the guy, but I don't dislike the guy. He's just a guy. He's just a guy. But what I will say is Mutahar is very, very open with how much he dislikes me. And that's just hard for me to handle. That's just hard for me to handle. So you like
picturing like somebody with like a shrine to Mutahar in their closet. So as soon as he says, "Oh, I hate Boogie,"
what I picture.
Let me get the AK up.
No, what I picture is the same thing I picture like when Sniper Wolf fucking docs Jack's film. So the same thing I picture.
You know what happened to Jack's film? Not a damn
No,
thing.
but listen. Right, yet he's got to live the rest of his life in that house, or he's probably going to move.
Being a bitch, dude. He's overdoing it. I think he's legitimately doxed. And the Jacksonville was being a ridiculous.
Well, the
bitch.
point that I'm making is this shit does not jive with my anxiety disorder. That's all I'm trying to say. It's really hard.
And what I'm trying to say is you're in the chat with a person that's probably the most bullied person on the planet. Like, because I'm saying I've been swatted 5 times. I've had ATF raid my house.
But also, would you not agree that you are probably mentally healthier than me? Because I would say by a lot.
I got to the point where like I'm hard as woodpecker lips, dude. Like,
yeah, I ain't
you get enough assault rifles pointed in your face, you kind of get numb to it.
I hope to be there. I hope to be there one day, but that ain't where I am. I hope to be a point where somebody's standing on my front door threatening my life, and I just be like, "Get the fuck out of here." I look forward to being at that point. Why don't you just
close the door?
But I don't think I do
that.
That's what I'm doing. Like, I'm gonna close the cops, and if you walk into my house,
so
where you live,
for me,
probably definitely could smoke them. Then,
if you walk into the house, you made your own bad choice.
Wow. That's what I love about the South.
But for me, and I think some people might be relate to this, you guys might not be able to, but for me, it's not somebody being on my front door that's that bad. Frank being on my front door wasn't that bad. The fear of Frank was what fucked with me, and the fear that followed for the next 2 years.
Do you think he was going to hurt
Like,
you?
I really dropped my dogs on that one, I guess. Because for the next 2 years, I still don't walk my dogs at night. I'm like, it fucks with me
from Frank?
to know. I thought I was going to get shot. I didn't know this motherfucker. It's a crazy thing to show up on somebody's front porch. That's crazy shit.
It's not that bad.
That's crazy shit. No, it's crazy shit to show up on someone's front door. And I've had crazy people do crazy, awful things to me.
I got a whole wall here.
Again, I'll make it very clear. Mutahar is not that person. I don't think Mutahar is that person. But I don't know that there's not somebody out there who watches Mutahar that wouldn't be like, I can get clout. I can get clout by going and destroying Boogie's life. I can get clout by showing up on Boogie's front door. I can get clout. And I just, it scares me very, very badly. And I have an anxiety disorder. I have a diagnosed...
shut up. You might be crazy.
But I do. I have a diagnosed anxiety disorder. And this shit's just hard for me. This shit's just hard for me, man. That's all I'm saying.
That's why you come here to vent. This is better therapy.
Come on, every fucking middle-aged housewife has anxiety disorder, Boogie. I do as well.
Yeah.
But let me give full credit to Muta, okay? Muta has, since last week, he has done an excellent job of taking it up with me personally instead of publicly. And I think it's fucking awesome that you're doing that, Muta. And I don't care whatever horrible shit you've got to say to me, Muta, I'll let you say it. I'll give you my number. You can call me and say that shit to my face as much as you want.
What did you say to Dojangles? Like, obviously, that probably got it under his craw. Like, what were you talking? Because I DM'd him and I said, "What's fuck's wrong?" And he says he's talking to my girl, and I'm like, "What?" Yeah, and he wouldn't elaborate. He was
afraid to Boogie to throw.
I said to her,
"Inappropriate."
I don't think so. I said to her, "Hey, when you're right, you're right. Keemstar told me to capitalize on this, and it would be fine. I didn't want to make a video about it though, so I thought a tweet wouldn't be upsetting to Mutahar. My mistake. I shouldn't be bringing it back up." And I told Keemstar that just a minute ago.
That's all you said to Dojangles. That's all you said to her.
No, I mean the conversation went on, but it continued. I said, she said, we were in the car. I didn't see it. I saw it. He didn't. How do you stay off his radar by mentioning him? I said, yeah, I'm grateful for that. And like I said, I didn't really think that tweet was something I would give a shit about.
Can you summarize the
the summary is I thought I was having a conversation with a completely different person until she said we were in the car. And I'm like, oh, shit. I even here's one of the lines. And let me read this because I think it's really important.
Was this voicemail?
No, this is text. This is on Twitter.
Of course, she's showing her boyfriend that shit. Fucking Boogie2988 is.
I literally said to her, I said, I don't know if you're close to Muta, but he made it clear that he felt that way about it. Thanks for trying to warn me that he would. And I didn't know you're married to this person. I didn't know you're friends. I know
he's married. I thought they're engaged, but
yeah. So I fucked up. I fucked up really bad. Like I super fucked up.
Well, I will say this. I'm going to defend you a little bit. I'm going to defend you. She's in the drama game now, like full force. She's got a podcast. She's game to be criticized like everybody else. She can't, and I don't think she wants to. I know her a little bit. I kind of like her. I don't think she wants to be Mutahar's girlfriend. And then live under that protection. She can stand on her own fucking too.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's still. I appreciate you defending me, but I still think it's. If I had known Like that's wasn't welcome. I obviously won't do it. Now that I know it's not welcome, I blocked Dojangles. She'll stay blocked. That's it. It's over. You know, I will never interact with her again. Right?
Fair enough.
Like once I know that that's what you want me to do, that's what I'll fucking do.
Her after this.
Well, you can, but I mean, like at the end of the day, like I don't know, Mutahar. And again, I'm sorry, Muta. If you gotta say whatever you gotta say, I understand. But Muta really dislikes me, and I don't like thinking like a Frank House will show up my front door way. But it's really it's scary for me. I'm not used to anybody being that upset about my antics. I'm not used to somebody being that just open about how much they.
Well, you never went to your own Reddit.
You know, those people were all anonymous though, and they didn't have 10 million followers. That's the difference.
I suppose.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
You should fight him.
All right. Hey, listen.
Shit, he would win.
If we get this episode out, I think future episodes will cover.
Wings, listen. If you can beat my ass, I know Mutahar can. Shit, I'm fucked.
Come on, I could beat Mutahar's ass.
You think?
You can't. No, fuck no.
Dude, like what? The dude's a tech guy. Like, come on, he ain't about that life.
Yeah, he ain't about it. He ain't about it like a Southern boy. He a country boy. You know what you're fucking doing. You whip his ass. I don't know, man. I bet Mutahar goes. Do you think is he fat? Does he go to a gym?
No, he ain't fat, but like just because you're not fat doesn't mean you want to whoop somebody's ass.
You whip that guy, you think you whoop his ass? Oh God, let's talk to Keem about that. I would love to see it. Hey, listen, guys. First one's in the tank. I don't know if this is gonna get because Wings fucked up the audio, but
I think it's savable.
If it does, this has been a classic. Really.
At least I didn't fuck up the audio. How awesome is that?
I'm surprised. you.
Yeah.
You actually did, Boogie.
You actually did. Yeah, I know. I know what I was expecting. Oh, I didn't record it. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. It's in the can. It's good.
It's in the tank. Then I'll apologize. How about that? So, thank you everybody for being a part of Lolcow Live from Wings of Redemption to Boogie2988. In the future, we'll be covering all the dramas that are going on, all sorts of freaking cool shit. So, tune in. Keem's got big plans. Nick Diorio's got big plans, and I guess Mutahar doesn't because we just threw him the fuck out. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great one.